Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today is another Sophisticated Saturday where together we work through my to-do list and get things done around the house. I had a lot of laundry to do today. We got a little bit off of our laundry schedule after Jim was traveling, and usually I do my dark and light laundry throughout the week, but today on a Saturday, I ended up having to fold both the darks and the lights, which is totally fine. I'm separating things out like I usually do, my stuff versus my husband's stuff. I lay his out just so it doesn't get all wrinkly, and then go to the other side of the bed and fold my stuff.
Wish I carry high whenever we're apart.
We are getting so close to baby number 2 being born. I'm sure you can tell from these videos I am looking more and more and more pregnant. So it's becoming more difficult to do long days on Saturdays and trying to get a bunch of stuff done around the house. If you watch some of my freezer videos that I did for postpartum prep to have a few meals to make it a little bit easier on myself, I couldn't decide after filming that video if it was actually easier for me to be making a bunch of freezer meals while I was really pregnant, or if it would have been easier to make meals with a baby, just because I'm so exhausted. My back hurts a lot when I'm pregnant. I have been going to the chiropractor, and I've also started doing physical therapy, which I did not do in my last pregnancy. Both of those places help me put KT tape on my back, sometimes on my stomach. I also have done a little bit of cupping, if you've ever tried that. I did that at physical therapy a few times. And I want to say I think my back is definitely not getting worse. I think it might be better than it was last pregnancy, but it still seems to be one of my biggest pregnancy symptoms or chief complaints is just this lower back pain. And I can really tell when I overdo it. It really, really hits me when I've been on my feet too long and standing there. So folding laundry is becoming a little bit of a task. I'm starting to think I might switch to sitting on the bed while I fold laundry like I did with my last pregnancy. So this may be the last time that I'm standing and folding laundry. And if you don't follow my monthly update videos, I am also trying to film a little bit ahead of time so that I have a stock of videos coming up so there isn't any downtime in my videos, but I can also take a tiny maternity leave, if you will, from YouTube, but still have videos being published. So I feel like I have been working pretty hard at YouTube and my business, Sophisticated Organization. I'm still working as a full-time attorney right now. I'm planning on working until I go into labor, and of course, taking care of Owen and our house. Although I will say one thing on the to-do list before baby comes is to have somebody come and clean the house. So I'm not going to kill myself in these last few weeks with doing any deep cleaning or anything like that of the house. I am going to hire that out. I've done a cost-benefit analysis in my head here, and I think it's one of those things that's just worth paying somebody else to do at this point. And plus, once I deliver and come home, it'll be so nice to come home to a clean house. My mother will probably come in town, same with my dad. I'm sure we will have my in-laws coming to visit. And it will also be nice to have a clean house for visitors. For today's recipe, I'm going to be making something that I made as one of my freezer meals when I was pregnant with Owen. And it is a jambalaya recipe, so it has andouille sausage, shrimp, chicken, brown rice, a lot of veggies in there, and I'm going to link the cookbook that it's from. One of the reasons I love this cookbook so much is because it does lay out storage tips after almost every single recipe. So it will tell you exactly how long things will last in the fridge. It'll point out which recipes are prime for going in the freezer after you've prepped them, and at what stage you should stick them in the freezer, if you should fully cook them, or if there's a certain point you should stop and then freeze, what types of instructions you should follow if you're thawing out these recipes from the freezer, if it should sit in the fridge overnight, and if you need to adjust the baking temperature because it was frozen. I just love that it has that added detail. It's also a really healthy cookbook, so I like that there are so many healthy options in there, and it has everything from appetizers and drinks and snacks to lunches and dinners and soups and desserts. So it's a really great one-stop cookbook. If you have never tried it, I would highly recommend it. And again, I will link it in the description box. But what I'm doing today is doubling the recipe just so I have some for freezer meals. We can also have some for dinner tonight. But also just out of convenience, I had a lot of these items from Costco and I didn't want to have to cut things in half. So for example, it calls for 1 pound of shrimp. The bags from Costco are 2 pounds of shrimp. The andouille sausage was gonna go bad and I had tons of it and wanted to put all of it in there. I am adapting the recipe a little bit based on what I have. So I should have had 2 green bell peppers and I think 2 red bell peppers. I didn't have that. I had one of those tricolor bags of bell peppers, so I only had 3. No green bell peppers, and I just did those 3. I will say it turned out fine. Also, you'll see near the end here, I'm going to add chicken to my Instant Pot, and it does call for chicken thighs, but I didn't have chicken thighs, and I had chicken breasts that I needed to use up. So I will say it also worked really well with chicken breasts. I didn't notice any difference. And once it's done cooking, you'll see how easily the chicken breasts shred. You can tell that it did cook perfectly with chicken breasts or chicken thighs.
Oh, there's a light, and there's a fire coming out of me.
So this recipe will need an Instant Pot. It uses the saute feature. So you start sauteing the sausage, the shrimp, you pull that out, then you saute the veggies in there, and then you add in some chicken stock. Make sure it doesn't burn or there aren't any burnt bits at the bottom. Finish adding in the rest of your chicken stock, some diced tomatoes, add in your rice gently at the top, just push it down a little bit, and then add in your chicken, and then you are going to use it as an actual Instant Pot and as a pressure cooker and let it sit in the pressure cooker for 20 minutes. And if you know how an Instant Pot or pressure cooker works, 20 minutes does not mean 20 minutes. It's always going to take longer. It takes a while for it to build up to the pressure. Then it actually needs to cook on high pressure for 20 minutes. And this recipe does have a slow release for 15 minutes. So that means once it's done, you let it sit for 15 minutes before you turn the valve and let that full pressure release. So with that amount of time, it was probably closer to 45 minutes that it takes to cook. So I had a lot of time on my hands to get some cleaning done.
I could wait a million years or more.
I had not done Owen's laundry in so long. I realized he had a lot of clothing in this size, especially a lot of winter clothing, and I wanted him to really start wearing it. So I purposefully did not do his laundry and let it build up a bit so he could work through all of his outfits and wear all of the cute things that he has. So this has been a long time coming doing his laundry, and I had a lot to hang, a lot to fold. I had already switched out his sheets and all of that, so I didn't have to worry about those things. But I also had some laundry that was getting to be a little bit small for him. I had some baby items in there, so I was putting the baby items on the chair. The items that are too small for him, I'm folding up. Some things aren't necessarily too small, but they were things from Halloween even, and he just doesn't need to keep wearing his Halloween outfits that are in 24-month size because he's turning 2, and I know that they're not going to fit him next Halloween. So I can go ahead and put those in the bin that I have in his closet that's already labeled too small. That's just where I put everything in there that he outgrows. Once the bin gets full, then I offload it to more long-term storage. But with little kids, it's really helpful to have a quick spot to put all of that clothing that they're growing out of, so you don't have to go to your basement and your storage room or to your garage and go to that storage tub to put one single item in there. It's much easier when there's a spot in their closet.
Favorite song, dancing to it all night long. With you I feel something. 'Cause we're both so unashamed. We're not playing any games. Yeah, it's hard to be. It's hard to be this real. We can play our favorite.
Though I did pack away some of the clothing that was Halloween related and didn't really work anymore, when it comes to pajamas, it's a little bit different because it's just at home. So his Halloween pajamas that still fit him right now, I'm going to let him keep wearing at home. And I actually have his pajamas organized with one side of the drawer, just regular pajamas, and the other side of the drawer I have for holiday type pajamas because I am such a sucker for kids' pajamas and holiday themed outfits, but especially holiday themed pajamas. So we have stuff for Halloween, we had stuff for Thanksgiving, I have stuff for Hanukkah, some for Christmas, and those all sit together in the drawer. I had to go back and get the rest of it from the dryer. There seriously was so much clothing, I couldn't carry it all in one round, so I brought it in 2 separate groups. So I'm going back through, just getting everything right side in instead of inside out and hanging it up, and then we are going to put it away in the drawers and put it away in the closet. So this whole bottom row is pretty much clothing that fits him right now, and then above it I have things that are a little bit too large for him. A lot of this he is really close to outgrowing because he is almost 2 and he's hitting that 24-month size, and then the rest of it is size 2T, so there's quite a bit that's really large on him and some that he is just about to outgrow. So I think this collection will be cut down quite a bit really quickly. Now the joys of trying to match up baby socks. I've heard so many people say with adult socks and with kids socks, it's just way easier to have all of the same type of sock. That way if you lose one, you don't have to be having mismatched socks and worrying about it. But we've gotten a lot of socks as gifts, and honestly, he loves the socks with animals on them. It gets him really excited to get dressed for the day if he has a sock with a lion on it or Elmo on it. So luckily we really haven't lost that many socks or had issues, but it is a little bit of a pain every time I'm doing the laundry to match up socks. Here is that pajama drawer I was talking about. Far left is 2-piece pajamas. Then a little bit over is the zipper pajamas. Then he has some underwear and socks. And then the far right is those holiday themed pajamas. The next drawer down, I have all of his long sleeve and long pants. And on the right side of the dresser, I have short sleeves and t-shirts, but that side we're not really worrying about right now because it is winter and nice and cold, and he is most definitely not wearing shorts and a t-shirt right now. Back downstairs doing a quick pickup of the living room. We always seem to have a little bit of a toy mess down here. Today was not too bad, so it really didn't take long to clean up. And then I'm going to hop into my office where things are a little bit messy, if you can tell. I've been doing some craft projects, but I also had some label orders that I needed to fill. So that's what I was going to start with first, is getting those labels all printed out. Usually I set up my iPad and watch a show while I do orders. I oftentimes will do them during nap time or when Owen goes down to sleep at night, early in the morning before I start working. Whenever I have a spare moment, I will send labels through the label machine or pack up orders. And I will say the label process is a little bit tedious, so it does take a long time. And I try and do them all together. So I'm really taking advantage of the most of my time. And that's a really great strategy to do in general with any tasks that you have, trying to group like tasks together, because the less movement you have from one place in your home to another, or one activity with your brain focused on one thing to something else, the more likely you are to just be as productive as possible, hone in on that task, and get things done. So I do that when it comes to my sophisticated Saturdays, how I break up my weekends, and how I get these orders done.
We used to laugh at everything, remember all the games we played. I remember them like they were yesterday. You used to be my Valentine. No, I'm not even sure you're mine. Why, baby, why? Why, baby, why? Do you ever just stop and wonder? We can't let this thing go under. Find a string.
Like I said, the process is a little bit tedious. I have to set up the labels, make sure they're all the right size. I print them out, then I weed away all of the excess vinyl that doesn't get used. You put them on transfer paper, then I cut them all out individually, break them up into all of the different orders, make sure I have all of the labels that were ordered, package them up with a little note, and then get them to the post office. After my labels and all of that laundry folding, the jambalaya was done, and like I said, you can see how easily this chicken just shreds apart. It said to transfer it to a cutting board to shred it, and I couldn't even do that because it just absolutely fell apart, which was perfect. That's what you want. You want it to easily fall apart. I'm adding in some hot sauce and lemon juice. I didn't even measure it. I just kind of eyeballed it, mixed it up, and then you can go and add the shrimp and sausage that you previously sauteed back into your mixture. Mix it all up, and this made a ton of food, so we'll have lots of freezer meals and dinner for tonight, and probably lunch and dinner, and maybe even lunch for the next day. I'm gonna freeze this in 2 different ways just to help out with postpartum depending on what I'm needing. It might be a meal where I just want it to serve one just for me when I'm at home and need a little bit of food. That is great for using my super cubes. These 2-cup trays are perfect. I'm not filling them up all the way, but mostly. And then I have a smaller tinfoil casserole pan here that is maybe about double that size. So if Jim and I want to have just one meal together, that is the perfect size for us. I'm not going to cover them right now because it's so warm. You want to let things cool before you put it in the freezer. But before I put it in the freezer, after I put the tops on, I'm gonna make sure to label it so I know what it is. While that cools down, I am heading downstairs to take care of a few more things. Owen's table, he's been doing a lot of coloring on. This play table is perfect because all you need to do is take a magic eraser to it and it takes off all of the crayons. It can look like such a mess, but it cleans really easily. Also, big things are coming up. We have Owen's birthday, we have Christmas, we have Hanukkah. I also wanted to get a gift for Owen from Owen's little brother, so from the baby. I've heard that's a really great idea to do when you are welcoming a new sibling for a toddler, just so they feel like the baby is thinking about them and they're really excited. So I am still not sure what gift is going for what. I was just thinking that through. I'm color coding it, or I guess coating it by different wrapping papers. I think the little Dyson that I have, I'm so excited. It was actually not that expensive and I found it on sale. So I am going to give it to him for his birthday. I love this reversible wrapping paper. It makes it really easy for multiple occasions or different events. This one side is birthday themed and then the other side is just polka dots. So the other side that's polka dots I am going to use to wrap up the gift that I am going to give from his little brother, and that I got him a little cash register from Target. It looks like a Target cash register. It comes with fake food and stuff. He has the little Target shopping cart as well, so I think it's gonna pair nicely together. And I like that. I think it's something that'll entertain him once we have the new baby. I think he'll be really excited to play with it. Once I finished wrapping up those things, I was going to put the one present that I'd previously wrapped under the Christmas tree, and then I was going to stick one more gift in the stocking for him that I wasn't going to wrap. Last but not least, I refilled our K-Cup organizer. I have one side that's caffeinated and one side that's decaf for me. that was it for today's Sophisticated Saturday. Like I said, I don't want to push it too hard, but I got a ton of stuff done today. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, I will see you all later.